had a higher education than the average lord. Tell me something. What do you call it, shing or ski?
Well, it all depends what you're doing, where you're doing it, and with whom.
Okay, I'm gonna call it shing.
Aren't you being a trifle premature?
Not premature. What do you have to do to qualify to come down that mountain, huh?
It depends on what sort of condition you wish to be in when you arrive at the bottom of the mountain,
Well,
dead or alive. We go into a snowplow. We put our toes together and we press our legs out.
Wait a minute. Put toes together. There, right? Press what? Legs
Press
out?
our legs out.
There.
Now,
Right.
if you lean to the left,
You lean to
you
the left.
turn to the right.
You turn to the right.
And if you
You
lean
turn
to the right,
you turn to the left. You're out of your head. Now look what you've done.
Hurt yourself?
Don't get funny.
Oh, never mind. The snow is softer. If only we were near it. We're miles from the ski slopes. And apart from that, we do not have the time.
We? Where do you get the we? You don't have the time. You got a secret message to come to Switzerland, not me. I'm here for the winter sports. Whoever she may be.
Oh, get her.
Give me a hand, will you? It's her. Keep talking. Could it be her? I only wished for her. Wait a minute. Wait.
Did you ring for room service?
Not me.
Well, oh. Well, may I say that uninvited visitors have never been more welcome.
Well, it's lucky you showed up. We would have killed him.
I wish to identify you. Your passport.
Boy, you have your passport?
Yes.
Give it to her. Thank you. Oh, she's the immigration department. Personalized service.
You are Lord Sinclair. Thank you for coming. I am yours to command.
Could you at least tell us where you're taking us to?
Forgive me, but no. Only a few minutes more and all will be explained.
In the meanwhile, do you think we could finish the introductions?
Oh, I am sorry. I am the Princess Alexandra Pavlovna Ozerova, directly descended from the Imperial Romanovs.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance, Princess. Look at that. She's got a nice body for a princess, I'll tell you that.
Yes, well, I suggest you look at the rest of the scenery. We may have to leave in a hurry.
Please.
Uh-huh.
Your Imperial Highness, I beg to present Brett Rupert George Robert Andrew Sinclair, Earl of Marnock, and Mr. Daniel Wilde. The Grand Duchess Anna Sergeyevna Ozerova, widow to the Grand Duke Mikhail Vasilievich Ozerov, nephew to the late Emperor of all the Russias, Tsar Nicholas II. My grandmother.
You may approach us.
Great honor, Your Imperial Highness.
And for us, a great pleasure. I knew your dear father, the 13th Earl.
The 13th Earl was my grandfather, ma'am.
Ah, we make such mistakes. Yes, I knew him at Windsor with George V. Dear George. Such a kind man, but a bad dancer.
Really, ma'am?
And Mr. Wilde, we are most happy to receive you.
Thank you. Excuse me, is Ozerov the family name? Oh, in the Bronx, there's a delicatessen called Ozerov's Delicatessen. Could he be a relation?
Oh, yes, Ivan.
Ivan, that's him.
A distant cousin.
Right, yes, of course. A pastrami peddler. Makes the best sandwiches in town, I tell you. Wait till I tell him I saw you. He'll be knocked out. Knocked out.
Oh, forgive us for being so ungracious to keep you standing so uncomfortable. Let us go over here. Ivan. Yes, he used to send us sometimes salami. Will you convey to him that we are grateful?
Oh, I certainly shall.
Oh, Alexandra. Champagne for our guests.
For grandmother.
A magnum. And tell Nikolai the special reserve to serve. Now, will you take your coats off? It is
Thank you, ma'am.
warmer here. Now, I must explain.
We'd be most grateful, ma'am.
We tried on purpose to be most intriguing.
And you certainly succeeded, ma'am. But why?
We live in a world which ended many years ago. The Russian aristocracy have now become jokes, figures of fun. Oh, no, it is true. And perhaps we are. But tell me honestly, would you have come here had you known it was to meet an old woman who lives in memories and dreams?
Please, it is lemonade, but say nothing.
Na zdarovье. Your lordship, your ladyship, this is,
A remarkable vintage.
it's wonderful, wonderful.
We thank you for coming.
It's our pleasure.
Before we start, There is someone that you should meet. In fact, it is at his insistence that you are here, Lord Sinclair. Apparently you are vital to his work.
Oh, in what way?
I don't know. But he will be here very soon.
Who is he?
His name is Wilhelm Gangouin. He's an archivist.
A what?
An historian. He's been researching our family history for a year now, and apparently has found a connection between the Ozerovs and the Sinclairs.
The times we speak of were most painful. The revolution. Much blood was spilled. Prince Ozerov, my fiancé, saw what was coming. No one would listen to him. He saw the danger, so he began making preparations. He sent the family jewelry to a bank here in Switzerland.
It was like putting something away for a rainy day, huh?
They got away from the palace. Oh, the journey across Russia was a terrible ordeal.
After 2 weeks, we came to a small village, Godninska. In the church there, Prince Ozerov and I were married. In 10 days' time, we'd almost reached the frontier. We were ambushed, and my husband was killed.
The village was destroyed. Any documentary evidence of the wedding was destroyed with it. There are no surviving witnesses.
Forgive me, but where is the jewelry now?
We're still at the bank, here in Geneva.
I am forced to go to the courts. I tell them I am the widow of Ozerov. They do not believe me. They want proof. Proof. My word is not enough for them. I had the same barbarian treatment they give to poor Anastasia in Paris.
Anastasia? Excuse me, Your Highness, do you know Anastasia?
But of course we grew up together.
Fantastic.
And next time you are in New York, ask cousin Ivan. He carried her from the Winter Palace.
You know something? He used to tell that story all the time, and nobody believed him. They just say, crazy Ivan. There he is, all juiced up on that vodka. Fantastic.
This is a fascinating and moving story, but I still don't see what it has to do with me.
Well, 1 year ago, the Soviet government asked for the return of the jewels, claiming that they belonged to the Russian people.
The Swiss authorities have ruled that all claims must be laid before the tribunal before the end of next month. If no claim is validated, the jewels will go back to Russia.
Извините, Ваше Благородие.
You don't have to announce me, Nikolai. Make the most casual visit sound like a state occasion. Highness? Alex? And you must be Sinclair and Wilde.
My nephew, Sergei Ozerov. It is no secret that we are not in the least fond of each other. But as he is a relative, I allow him to come here. Now, I think I will go to my room for a little while. I will return when Monsieur Gangouin arrives.
Yes. I'm looking forward to meeting him.
Yeah. So are we, as a matter of fact. Do you have any idea how long that's going to be?
But he'll be here any time now, please. Please, you will wait.
Ready?
Ready.
Excuse me.
What are you doing? There's nothing of value in there. What's this about?
It's here.
Good. Now, if you'd like to get back into your car. Goodbye.
What about my case?
Oh, of course.
I see you got the lemonade treatment.
Yes, I've been meaning to ask you about that.
I can tell you. It's part of the game they all play here. They've been broke for years. You think they like this place with candles because it's romantic? No. Because the power has been cut off. They keep the truth from the old lady.
That's why it's so important that she wins her claim.
Well, I hate to be boring and repetitious, but have you any idea what my connection with this affair is supposed to be?
None.
Well, somebody does. Those two men who ransacked my room tonight were looking for something. Are there any other claimants in this case?
Him.
Interesting looking saber.
You know anything at all about them?
Just a little. How about you?
If you're interested, I might find time to give you a few pointers.
Oh, I can always use a few pointers, believe me.
Saber's my weapon.
Oh, is it?
And remarkably good.
You better be.
Excuse me. Hello? Yes, speaking.
I love the balance of the blade here.
Oh, no. Yes, I understand. Yes, I understand. I'll come down as soon as possible. Gangwan is dead. His car went over the cliff. They want me to go down to the police station. Grandmother.
It's all right, Alexandra. I heard. I've lived with hope for so long. There is nothing more that anyone can do. The matter of the Ozerov fortune is ended.
We found a letter on the body with your address, but there was no briefcase. He was on his way to talk about his research, so he must have had something.
Are you convinced that it was an accident?
We have no reason to doubt it.
Have you been able to locate his daughter yet?
Not so far. In the meantime, we'd be grateful if you'd make a statement, mademoiselle. It won't take too long.
What is it, Charlie Chan? Huh?
I was thinking, a researcher must have source material, records.
Ah, so. Number one son speak with tongue of wisdom. Ah, so.
And the place he lived isn't too far away.
I got rickshaw. We go chop chop. See you later, Alex. Okay, come on, let me be navigating. Give me the map.
Thank you, Daniel. I remember the last time we went to Berlin.
So?
We were supposed to be going to Madrid.
Well, nobody's perfect, Ken.
Certainly not you. Well, nobody home?
No.
Well, I suppose we have to break in.
Wait a minute. Why do we always have to break in? Maybe they left the key under the mat.
Oh, don't be so stupid,
Yeah,
Daniel.
well,
People
wait a
don't leave keys under mats.
Wait a minute. Wait, let me just... They don't, huh? What is that? Oh, how'd you beat me in?
Who's that?
What a sloppy housekeeper.
Well, that's what comes of leaving keys under the mats. There.
Right.
Well, whoever was here hasn't been long gone. This is still warm.
Well, if they couldn't find what they were looking for, it's going to take us years to find it.
Yes. Especially when we don't know what we're looking for.
Wait a minute, look. A lot of books on Russia. Here's two. The Massacre of Petrograd, Kornunsky, the Romanovs by Kachurian.
Gesundheit.
Thank you. Sinclair.
Yeah?
Not you, this book. It says Sir Rodney Parkington Sinclair. Any relation?
Yes, my uncle. Limited edition, printed privately, 1922. Oh, I remember reading this as a child.
You're kidding.
Oh, yes, my uncle Rodney was acknowledged as being one of the most boring men in the world. Well, naturally, a child, I wasn't allowed sleeping pills, so I had to read his books.
That's the connection, you know. That's the connection between the Sinclairs and the Ozerovs. I'm going to take this back to the hotel.
Nice to see you, officers.
What took you so long? Arrest these men. These criminals.
I'll decide who's going to be arrested. Are you all right, Sergeant?
Yes, sir.
All right, handcuff them.
I suppose there's no use explaining that we didn't realize.
Bring in Mademoiselle Ganglois. Ah, Mademoiselle. Tell me, are these the two men you saw breaking into the house?
Yes, they are the one.
All right, Sergeant, bring them along.
Breaking in.
You know, this is the most boring book I ever read in my whole life. Boring.
It's considered my uncle's most exciting book.
Oh, really?
Now, Daniel, would you do me a great favor?
Sure, anything, kid.
Get my cigar case out of my side pocket there. Thank you.
Back to the same place?
How'd you do that?
Do what?
Fortunately for you, this matter seems to have been cleared up.
Well, we're glad to hear it.
It has been my fault. When I saw you enter the house, I did not think. I just ran to telephone the police.
Haven't caused us any trouble.
Perfectly understandable.
You still had no right to go to the house.
Neither did the people that were there. Why don't you go after them?
Then you are still treating my father's death as an accident?
I see no reason to do otherwise. I'll keep you informed of any developments. Excuse me. You can take the cuffs off them. They're free to go.
About your father, is there anything we can do?
Thank you. It's just that I don't believe it was an accident.
Well, you
He was such a careful driver. He knew the roads so well.
Do you, know anything about your father's research into the Ozerov family?
He talked to me about it sometimes.
Well, perhaps when you're feeling a little better, you'll tell us what you know.
Found this book at the house. Do you mind if I keep it for a day or two?
I remember that one. He was very excited when he found it.
The Englishman looked at the weapon with some surprise, to the use of which he was totally unaccustomed. The challenger, he said, in all countries where honor is known, accepts the arms of the challenged. And so, under the cover of darkness, I left the Winter Palace. I was wearing a suit of heavy blue serge with hand stitching on the lapels and lined with a pale blue silk. My trousers were... Oh, my shoes, my shirts. What is this? I mean, what's with your uncle, honey? Look at that, 4, 5, 6 pages of describing the suit he was wearing. Now, listen to this. Eventually, I was given food and refuge in a church in a tiny village of Godinska.
Godinska. But that's the village where my grandmother was married.
Right.
Go on, please, go on.
My conversations that night with the clergy were of other refugees, it could have been them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who were sheltered here before me. These conversations are recorded in my diaries of the event. Diaries?
Hundreds of them. He wrote everything down. Keep going.
I started again on my weary way. I was wearing a double-breasted suit of gray. It was the dawning of November the 7th.
But the wedding took place on November the 5th.
2 days before.
Yes.
Now, if they were all in Gardinska together, they must have talked about it, right?
Well, it's almost certain they would.
These diaries of your uncle, are they still around?
Not only are they around, so is Uncle Rodney.
Guess where you're going?
To see Uncle Rodney.
It's over 50 years since the jewels were entrusted to the bank. They have been in this vault all that time.
Oh, really?
It won't seem the same without them.
Be a big loss to the bank if...
Not at all. No, not at all. In fact, quite the reverse. Unlike hard cash, they can't be invested. But of course, that's not to say they haven't been an asset. The very fact that we were holding them seemed to inspire trust from other investors. Our reputation was built on that trust.
Wow. Beautiful.
After all these years, I'm still impressed every time I see it.
What's it worth?
$4 million American dollars would be a very conservative estimate.
How many people can claim it?
3 or 4 vague relatives, but they don't stand a chance. The only real claimants are the Duchess and her nephew Sergei. Do you know him?
Yeah, we met.
He did not like you very much, Mr. Wilde.
Well, the feeling's mutual, ma'am.
But do not let it worry you. He dislikes me even more. Well, what do you think of the Ozerov Inheritance?
Fantastic.
Magnificent, isn't it?
Magnificent. Beautiful.
Yolta is so kind. He lets me come here whenever I want, just to see and remember.
If Brett gets what he's looking for, you'll be wearing him.
Oh, some new evidence?
Where do you think I could find Sergei?
He has a room in the house on the Nobelstrasse.
Number 73. He runs a small gymnasium.
Gymnasium?
He gives lessons in swordsmanship. It gives him a chance to show off.
Well, he could use it. Excuse me.
Keep the elbow in on those parries. Mr. Wilde, if you've come for a lesson, get yourself a jacket. What about riposting these parries? Like that. And that. And that. And the point is a good riposte. You still make the mistake of fighting defensively. The aggressor has all the advantages. It'll do for today. You can go and get changed. Mr. Wilde.
Hi, Sergei.
You did say the saber was your weapon, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right.
Try that. Has a nice feel.
Oh, thank you. It's a beautiful sal. Beautiful.
I'm glad you decided to take up my offer.
I like to take a saber lesson every chance I get. It seems to me that somebody's trying to stop the Duchess from getting the evidence that she needs. Do you have any idea who that could be?
On guard. To answer your question, no, I don't have any idea. But if you're looking for somebody with a motive, nobody has a better one than me. On guard. standing too wide. The side of the body is a much narrower target. Get that knee turned out. Right? Keep your distance. Cut ahead. Your defense is too slow. Right? I don't need to do anything about stopping the Duchess's research. There is no evidence. There never was.
Gangman thought so.
Then he was wrong.
Touché. You don't get murdered for being wrong.
There is no proof that Jangine was murdered. Just as there is no proof the Duchess ever married. Hey! But what I really resent is outsiders interfering in what is strictly a family affair. You came here for some information. All right, I'll give you some. Stay out of it. Understand? Stay out. There'll be no charge for the lesson, Mr. Wilde, or the advice. Enjoy your trip back to London.
You smell certainly much nicer than Sergei does.
I think you'll live. I'll go.
Somebody at the door. Hi, kid.
Good afternoon.
How are you? Nice to see you. Come in. Can I take your coat?
Thank you.
Well, how'd it go?
Oh, I spent most of the day trying to sort out the mess at the house.
It must really be rough. Did you find anything?
No, there was not one document left that related to the Ozerov research.
So there was no trace of his briefcase?
All I could find was his address book, a few scraps of paper with book titles listed. Some names that mean nothing to me.
How long did your father work on this?
For over a year now.
Who paid him?
What do you mean?
Well, this kind of research costs a lot of money, and Grandmama is busted, kid.
Herr Yolker at the bank.
Herr Yolker.
He took care of the fees. He has been very generous in lending us some money, and, well, he believes in her.
Yes, there are bankers like that. Did your father work alone?
Sometimes if it was very complicated or he needed to trace somebody, he'd use a detective agency that specialized in that sort of work.
You know the name?
No. It was only a minor point he wanted to check. The whole thing was done on the telephone.
Here's his book. Maybe you could recognize the name in there if you saw it, huh? Would you like a drink?
Oh, thank you. Vodka. This is it. I'm almost sure. An agency called Walter and Dante.
Walter and Dante.
It was Tuesday, I recall. No, I'm wrong. It was Thursday. Yes, it must have been Thursday because we were having smoked haddock. My wife, no, don't tell me. I'll remember her name in a minute. She was having tea with the Tsarina, Alexandra Fedorovna.
Uncle, after your escape from the Winter Palace, you spent the night in the village of Gdynska. Now, you wrote about this in one of your diaries.
Of course, I write down everything that ever happens to me. You know, I can tell you what I had for breakfast 20 years
Yes,
ago.
I'm sure you will.
What's that, huh?
Gdynska, what happened in the village of Gdynska?
Grapefruit, deviled kidneys, thinly buttered toast. Yes, that was it, yes. Gdynska.
Yes. Yes, which diary did you write?
That's in Russia, you know.
Yes, I know it's in Russia,
I spent
Uncle,
the
but
night there, you know, escaping
yes,
the
but
Bolsheviks.
which diary?
Yes. Coffee without milk, a glass of salt, some diary. Oh, you will try number 14.
Thank you, Uncle.
Butler's name, you know, was Percy. A decent enough fellow, although he put gravy down my smoking jacket once. A brown velvet it was, awful mess. My wife, she was terribly annoyed about it because nothing could be done. I mean, the thing was really had to be clean, but it never really looked the same thing afterwards. It spoiled it all. I don't know why she was upset.
Might I use your phone?
Oh, yes.
Where is it?
Oh, there, something. Smoking jacket was never the same
Do you
again.
think I could borrow the diary?
Oh, yes.
Operator, I'd like to send a cable. To Switzerland.
Mary. That was my wife's name, Mary.
Hotel, right?
How did you find me?
Your name was in Gangin's telephone book. You left it at the house when you ransacked it.
That was careless.
Come on, one little question. Who's paying you?
At least that proves you haven't found out anything important.
Sergei Ozerov, right?
Yes, all you want. If you really want to play games, why not try guessing what happens to you now?
Well, let's see. Oh, you're not going to do to me what you did to Gangin, are you? With the car over the cliff? No.
Police are satisfied that was an accident. They would have a hard time proving anything else.
Forget it. 2 accidents like that in a row? No.
All right. I think we must find something different for you.
Yes. Yeah. How about a week in Acapulco?
Get up. All right, call the police. Go ahead. Call the police. Tell me.
Well, you said the police can't prove anything, didn't you?
Right.
Well, there's one other thing they can't do.
What's that?
There. All right, now who are you working for?
Are you all right? Yes. Find something to tie his hands.
What is it?
It's Ron Sinclair. He arrives on the first flight tomorrow. And he's got what he went for.
What are we going to do with him? He can't stay here.
I'll check.
Well, I'd like to thank you for one of the most interesting flights I've ever had.
I didn't know we'd landed.
Well, it's the only way to fly. We must do it again soon.
Excuse me. I don't make a fuss here, but I have a message for you.
Oh, Western Union now. Last time we met, you were a housebreaker, as I recall.
And now I'm a photographer. Look at that.
Daniel. Always did take a bad picture.
He could look a lot worse if you don't come with me.
I doubt that. But lead on.
Come on, stand up.
Oh, I feel like I've been out a month or so.
We gave you a quick shot to help you to sleep. You should be as fresh as a daisy.
What is this place?
You've been in here before.
It isn't Ivan the Terrible.
I don't like your mouth, Mr. Wilde. Hit him.
Wow. It was Ivan the Terrible.
I've already said that.
Oh, pity. An old man like you rolling around the floor.
Oh, I've had a terrible night.
Oh,
Terrible.
a bunch of friends.
Give me his bag.
I'll bet you $100. The next thing he says is, where is it?
Where is it?
You're right, here, under
Hey, search him.
Caught.
Please?
Where is the diary?
Diary?
You know, the most painful thing you can do now is to be heroic. Where is the diary?
Lord Sinclair gave it to me on the plane. He asked me to bring it out here.
Oh, we can't thank you enough. It really means a great deal to us.
Glad I could help.
And where is the Lord Sinclair now?
I'm not sure. He said he thought somebody might be picking him up at the airport.
I expect we'll see him later.
Well, forgive me. I really must be going.
I'll see you out.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Goodbye. I expect it's the page that's marked.
Yeah.
2 days before my arrival, a wedding took place in...
I can read, child. I can read. After all these years, no one can ever doubt again.
Oh, grandmother.
Oh.
Sinclair, we can keep this up longer than you. Where is the diary?
I didn't bring it.
We found the cable you sent to Wilde. You said you'd have it with you.
That is what I intended. I spent most of last night trying to telephone Danny at the hotel. When he didn't answer, I guessed he was in some sort of trouble. So I left the diary in London.
You're lying.
Would I lie to a decent chap like you?
You handle it. Hurt him, but keep him conscious.
I'd rather be unconscious.
Yes? That's marvelous. I'll deal with it right away. The diary is at the chateau. You come with me. You stay here. Keep them apart.
Right. Once he's destroyed the book, there's nothing in the world that anyone can do about it.
If you put that gun away, I'll give you the keys to my jet. How about 2 weeks at my apartment? in
Daniel, Daniel, there's no point in trying to bribe a dishonest man.
Stay quiet.
I tell you what. Supposing I look at the door sharply and say, "Come in, Inspector," and you charge him.
He's dumb, but that dumb he's not. I don't mean it in an offensive manner. Just a comment.
Prestidigitation.
What did you say?
Well, don't make me say it again. The cigar trick.
Oh, the cigar. Yeah, got it. You're going to love it. Listen, I'm not going to do anything. Just look at the knot. See the knot? Watch. It's a great trick.
Stay here. Nobody comes in.
You have the manners of a peasant, Sergei. Do you never knock?
I don't have time.
Well, we have some bad news for you. The final proof we needed.
Congratulations. You're going to be very rich.
We have always been very rich. The only thing that we have lacked has been money. You will also find that we are generous, Sergei, even to those for whom we hold no affection.
I suppose there is no doubt about your proof.
None whatsoever.
May I see it?
Show him.
You're quite right. No one could deny this evidence. So, I must destroy it.
Your Highness. Come here. Clumsy. I said you were clumsy.
What happened?
Oh, he stumbled. Join me.
A man who fights with a saber as you must have Russian blood in him.
Well, maybe a little bit, Your Highness.
Ah, I came as soon as I could. On the phone, Alex said you had the book.
Yes.
Here it is, Herr Julka. The evidence that justifies your faith in me all these years.
I'm very happy for you.
Yes. Make sure it goes in a safe place. It's very valuable.
Oh, I agree. I'll put it into the vaults immediately.
Yes, I shall not feel secure until you safely have it under lock and key.
Yes, I shan't be long.
Yes, make haste. I'll go along with you.
The police are just coming.
Alexandra, I've been thinking we should have a special celebration, a banquet. Well, quite a small one, of course, but only 300 or 400 people. Or perhaps a masked ball, like we used to have in the old days.
It seems apt the book should stay with the jewels.
Excuse me, but the jewels in the book goes with us.
What is this, Daniel? Are we in the heist business?
Right.
What are you talking about? What is this?
Back at the house, you said that Alex called you and told you about the book.
Yes.
Sergei knew about the book. Who told him? Him? You did.
Now, why didn't I think of that?
Because you're not Charlie Chan, that's why.
Oh, you listen to me, Honorable Number One, son. This is paste.
What about the rest of it?
All of it is. It has been for the last 2 years. The bank was in trouble. I was desperate.
What about Sergei?
I gave him a share. The only reason he contested the Duchess's claims in the courts was to stop her finding out. The old woman can't live forever. It would have been his then anyway.
Well, if you can't trust your own bank manager, who can you trust?
You trust me, sweetheart?
Thank you, Dad.
Come along.
Please, gentlemen, let me offer you a deal. I'm sure we could come to some arrangement. If you allow me...
Just don't get so excited. Give you a chance to get used to it. Clean laundry on Wednesdays.
Magnificent.
I confess, even knowing it is not real, it gives a feeling of being groomed.
Well, yes, groomed, certainly. Maybe for the supermarket it's a little overdressed, but there's no question about it, kid. You're a duchess.
What you have done for me is most important. Finally, in the eyes of the law, I am the Grand Duchess Anna, Sergei Afner, Ozerov.
And something else.
It may take a little while yet, but when the bank's affairs are finally cleared up, there may just be a little compensation.
It will be most welcome. Although our needs are modest, we shall survive one way or another.
Yes. To your health. That's real.
It's amazing how much credit one can get, even on fake jewelry. To life.
To life.
To life.